On Tuesday, Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelensky told the UN Security Council that the war with Russia cannot be resolved through dialogue alone, and that Moscow must be forced into peace.
Putin has broken so many international norms and rules that he won't stop on his own. Russia can only be forced into peace. And that is exactly what's needed, forcing Russia into peace as the sole aggressor in this war, the sole violator of the UN Charter. Our Ukrainian right to self-defense must prevail. Our cooperation with nations of the world who value life as we do, our territorial integrity, our sovereignty, the independence of our country.
Ukraine faces an uncertain future. Right now, it relies heavily on US military and financial support. A victory for former President Donald Trump over Vice President Kamala Harris in November's US presidential election could prompt a reset of Washington's policy on Ukraine. Zelensky again mentioned a victory plan he plans to show both candidates for ending the conflict. He has revealed little about it beyond saying it would lead to a second Ukraine-led summit for peace by the end of the year that Russia would be invited to. However, he has said that if his plan is backed by the West, it could significantly impact Moscow, including in a psychological way that could help compel Putin to end the war diplomatically. During the summit on Tuesday, Russian UN Ambassador Vasily Nebenzia spoke up to reject the 15-member council's hosting of Zelensky. There was also a clash between US Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi over allegations of Chinese support for Russia's war efforts. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky held a flurry of talks with world leaders on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly Monday, trying to drum up support for Kyiv's efforts in the Russian war. The heads of India, Germany and Japan all sat with the Ukrainian leader. Zelensky also spoke to the wider summit, urging peace for his country's future.
Putin has stolen much already, but he will never steal the world's future, I'm sure. We are now preparing for the second peace summit, moving forward with our partners step by step according to the peace formula. And we are preparing a document to present at the second peace summit. I invite all leaders, nations to continue supporting our joint efforts for a just and peaceful future.
After his meeting with German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, Zelensky stressed the need for unity in pursuing a just peace. Germany has been one of the most significant backers in Europe of Kyiv's defensive fight against Russia. Zelensky also made note of Ukraine's developing ties with India after meeting Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Despite India's long-standing warm ties with Russia, it has allowed the diversion of artillery shells to Ukraine from European customers. The full-scale Russia invasion of Ukraine, or special military operation as Moscow calls it, began in February 2022 and has killed thousands of people, uprooted millions more, and turned Ukrainian towns and cities into rubble. Following the UN sessions, Zelensky will travel to Washington to present his victory plan and influence White House policy on the war, which includes Kyiv's long-stated request to use long-range missiles on targets inside Russia. Zelensky says the plan is for whoever ends up in the White House after November. On Monday, Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump, who said in a debate that he will end the war within days if elected, claimed without evidence that Zelensky wanted the Democrats to win in November. The presidential office in Kyiv did not immediately respond to a request for comment, but Zelensky has previously said he is willing to work with whoever wins the election.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky traveled to the U.S. over the weekend with a crucial mission, one he summed up in this video from aboard a transport aircraft. He said this fall will determine the future of the war. He is set to deliver what he has called a victory plan to his closest ally, U.S. President Joe Biden. It's an urgent bid to win agreement from Washington on supporting an end to the war on Kyiv's terms. Zelensky has said that if the plan is backed by the West, it will have a broad impact on Moscow and could help compel Russian President Vladimir Putin to end the war diplomatically. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said Moscow would study Zelensky's plan once details were public. But the two sides remain far apart. Zelensky wants Ukrainian membership in NATO and the European Union, and wants Russian forces driven from all Ukrainian territory. Putin says peace talks can only begin if Kyiv abandons swaths of eastern and southern Ukraine to Russia and drops its NATO membership plan. The Ukrainian war effort is reliant on the United States and Western European nations, which have funneled billions in arms and support to Kyiv since Russian forces invaded in 2022. But Zelensky may fear an abrupt shift. Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump, at a debate, refused to say if he wanted Ukraine to defeat Russia. The Ukrainian leader is set to present his proposal to both of Biden's potential successors, Trump and Democratic candidate and Vice President Kamala Harris. As the election nears, Kyiv has put on a show of strength, rapidly seizing land in an incursion into Russia's Kursk region. A drone attack caused a massive blast at an ammo dump in Russia's Tver region last week. Zelensky has tried to present Ukraine's struggle against Russia as in America's interest. He toured the Scranton Army Ammunition Plant, a munitions factory in Pennsylvania, on Sunday with Democratic Governor Josh Shapiro. The two signed howitzer shells. Zelensky says his victory plan aims to secure Allied support through December, culminating at a summit with Russia invited later this year.